You're listening to episode 37, Rambo First Blood Part 2, directed by George Cosmatos. Is it better than the first? Let's find out on this episode of Video Vila Podcast. I swear, directors with these crazy-ass last names are a recipe just to continuously redo the intro, and I just love that. Nonetheless, for this week's episode for Rambo First Blood Part 2, Logan will be joined by Dusty and Paul from Flicks and Friends podcast. So they will carry you through what they think about Part 2 as well as Part 1. Enjoy.
All right, today I've got the Flicks and Friends podcast, Paul and Dusty. How y'all doing today, guys?
Hey, what the hell's up?
Doing good.
Awesome. Are y'all ready to be manly?
Oh, so fucking manly. I can't wait to get out on Muscle Beach.
Oh, yeah. So much fucking testosterone running through my veins. I can't wait, man. I can't wait to talk about Rambo.
I'm so manly that I'm wearing pink and you can't change me.
I feel like we should have, like a mural painted of us being so manly.
Actually, let me put. I think I found one on the internet. Here, let's look at it right now. Oh, look at that! That's just I don't see anything wrong with that. That's just a bunch of dudes hanging out, man.
Studs.
That's it, man.
Studs.
Out
Maybe
there
coming back from a workout or something.
Yeah, Paul, grease me up.
Grease me up, woman.
Yeah.
Oh man, so we were talking off camera, and it does seem, Dusty, this is your first time watching this one, correct?
Yes, this is my first watch through of any of the Rambo movies. So starting with Part 2 sounded pretty fun.
Cool. And like I forgot to mention, but these are my friends from their fellow podcast we talked about on the last episode. Where can we find you guys at?
Oh, we're on all social media platforms. We're on the Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and the TikTok, all under Flicks and Friends podcast. And any podcatcher you listen to, we're there. So
yeah, I'll put your in efforts for the listeners and viewers. If you need a link, go right down in the comments. You can check these boys out. They have great content. If you like our show, you'll love their show.
So we're also on LiveJournal, Pure Volume, MySpace.
Yeah. Yep. Listen to us on your Zune.
Yeah, listen to us on your favorite dead medium.
And I think you're on a site where it's only for some fans, right? That's
yeah. Only like my name. It says Grambo. It's for only grams.
The picture you guys just saw, that's basically what we offer you. Just those and banana hammocks.
Yeah, I don't even wear a banana hammock. I just bring the banana.
I'm the banana hammock.
Paul's the hammock. Yeah.
All right, so I'll start off before I start getting some fun facts. So Dusty, this was your first viewing. What about you, Paul? What was your take, or like when can you remember the first time you saw this one?
Okay, so I have vivid memories of the first two. My dad was a big action film fan. I remember watching the first two very young, probably too young. Logan, are we the same age? How old are you, Logan?
34.
Okay, so no, you're a baby. So I'm the older statesman here. So I do remember I was old enough to remember this being a still relatively recent movie when I saw it for the first time when I was young. But my dad showed me all the essentials. So, but I didn't see 3 until much later. But the first 2 were essential watching for my dad because of being a Vietnam vet. And especially the previous movie. So my dad, and like I said, he was just big into action. Anything with him, Arnold, Jean-Claude Van Damme, even early Steven Seagal.
I was saying Steven Seagal.
Yeah. So
those first couple of films he was in, he was the average day badass. Steven Seagal was. People loved him.
Those late 80s, early 90s movies were watchable.
Yeah.
Now he's just bad.
Yeah,
and ass.
He's a fat ass, is what he is now.
There you go.
He was on that one with Kurt Russell. That one's pretty good. Was it
Under
Siege?
Siege. Under Siege. Yep.
And they kill him. But that was
Yeah.
like the perfect role for him. He shows up, he's kind of a badass, and then he dies. And
Yep.
everyone was like blown away. Like, you freaking killed Steven Seagal? What? That movie's badass.
Yeah, they kill him in Machete as well.
Yep. I want to say that was Under Siege was 92. So yeah, that's still pretty early in his career.
Yeah, same thing with me, man. This is early for me. Like I saw, to be honest, I saw the second one before I saw the first one. And I didn't see the shoot, man. I probably wasn't even in, I think I was in college. I can't remember. I think I was maybe just 18 when I saw First Blood. And because I didn't know it was a Rambo movie, because I just knew Rambo movies as Rambo. And I didn't think that it was a Rambo movie when it was said First Blood. And then I was reading the descriptions on DirecTV and I was like, Rambo. Oh, is this a Rambo movie? Because I was shocked because it was different. You know what I mean? It's definitely in a way different from the first one. Like, obviously this was when they kind of took the franchise into a mega blockbuster franchise. The first one was more of like more down to earth and just like more storytelling with some badass in it.
Was
This is just full blown.
The first one's a drama.
Oh yeah, 100%.
Yeah.
Yeah, he doesn't kill anybody in the first one. Literally no one dies. He hurts them and maims them a little bit, but like he doesn't literally kill anybody. And that's very adamant. He's trying not to kill anybody. And it's just the first one. We have an episode on the first one. That's like it's that movie is it's literally in my top 10, like one of my favorite movies of all time. That first one, I love it. I love that first.
It's in my top 10 action films all the time. Even though we just said it was a drama, but it's still got action in it.
No, yeah, the shit blows up.
It's an action drama. It's an action drama. It's an action drama.
Yeah.
Yeah, but Logan, I was in the same boat as you, man, because you told us we were doing Rambo 2, and I looked and I'm like, what the fuck is Rambo First Blood Part 2? Like I took a picture and sent it to Paul. I was like, is this the one we're watching? Because I couldn't find just Rambo 2. I was struggling, man. I was struggling trying to find the movie to watch. To watch the right movie, I guess.
Yeah, it's weird because because the first Rambo First Blood Part 2, I don't know if like maybe
a lot
they
of
just
words.
felt the need to put Rambo in the title to like just for the poster to like people know, oh, it's a Rambo movie. I'm not too sure why they felt the need to they could just call it First Blood Part 2. I don't know.
Yeah, and I think I don't know, maybe something about the title scaring people away with the first, but they still left it in. But I think the name, because people remember the first movie from because Rambo. And they're like, okay, so probably the studio's like, no, you've got to put Rambo up top on the marquee so people know. But pretty much so people just called this movie Rambo 2 at this point. No one bothered.
Yeah, I agree.
First Blood.
Well, I didn't know that, Paul.
But I mean, it is confusing. It is confusing considering
it's a long ass name to just.
It's just like Logan said. Though, like you're saying, like Logan said, like he didn't realize that First Blood was the first movie.
That's what I'm saying.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I mean, and the thing is, this thing did gangbusters, man. I mean, you're talking about they shot it for $44 million, and it made over $300 million
in the 80s. That's
in the 80s, which is the equivalent. I think they said $700 million today's. Well, take it back. That there's a really cool featurette that they did. It's called "Do We Get to Win This Time?" And it's a little documentary through all the Rambos where they talked with the director and Stallone. And I think that's from like early 2000s. So if early 2000s that was equivalent to 700 million, I mean, just think about how much that. I mean, it's probably over $1 billion in today's standards.
Oh yeah, easily. What year did this movie come out? It came out in 85, right? Okay.
Yeah.
So let me while you guys are discussing, I'll do the math.
When does the bamboo spikes come in? Because I do know that Rambo trap.
The bamboo spikes are from the first movie, actually.
Yep.
Is it? Oh, okay, cool.
Yeah, he uses a tree and then puts spikes through it, and then that's like I said, he doesn't kill anybody in the first one. It's more just to to harm them or slow them down to get them to stop following him. Because basically, in a nutshell, he goes in, and the whole message of the first one is like not respecting our troops after they come back. Because at that time, it wasn't. I mean, obviously, the Vietnam War was tons of protest against it, but some people went to the war because they had to go to the war. And then when they came back after watching their brothers in arms die, they weren't welcomed back with opening arms. They were
Nope.
also like, they
Yeah.
kind of like shunned them on their way back, thinking they were horrible people. And that this is the people that they basically laid their life on the line for. And that was the whole message. Like, I came back to a nation that didn't want me back, that I would have died for. And
Yeah.
that, once again, at the end of the movie, we'll talk about same message comes back at the end of the movie.
It's
Mhm.
by the way, $875 million is what it would be equivalent
Gotcha.
today.
Wow.
That's a
Yeah,
lot.
the
Yeah,
the most Rambo background I have is when he was a DLC on Mortal Kombat 11.
Yeah.
He was a ton of fun to play. Like, let me tell you, he was a whole new mechanic. He fit in very well on Mortal
Well,
Kombat
they
11.
also brought him in Call of Duty. In Warzone, you
Oh,
could
really?
have the Rambo skin. Yeah.
Huh.
Yeah, I played Warzone for a hot minute there, but then I just got tired of just like not having fun. Like, you respawn and immediately die because
Yeah.
someone's using freaking hacks and shit and stuff. It's fun, but like, you know, for the average console user that doesn't play 8 hours a day, it's not that fun.
Yeah, not the casual player.
No, yeah, exactly. So, and this was crazy. It was actually the first one to actually be nominated for an Oscar. It was nominated for best sound editing, which is kind of cool for like a action film.
Cool.
And I don't know if y'all knew that, but like I didn't know until I looked up. Like, so actually, the first person to start the script was James Cameron.
So I want to bring this up too, because this is like we were talking about earlier with the difference between this movie and the first film, and James Cameron being involved is very similar to Aliens versus Alien, where James Cameron also changed the pace of what or the tone of what the original movie was. Because Alien is a horror film. Aliens is
It's
an action film.
Yeah, that's sci-fi action right there.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's the king of sequels.
Well, okay, so he started on it, and eventually the original script was going to have them in a mental institution, and it was going to be a buddy action film. And guess who his buddy was going to be?
Who?
Carl
John
Weathers.
Travolta.
Oh.
John Travolta?
Yeah, from Staying Alive, because they were in Staying Alive together. And they was it? Yeah, Staying Alive. That's the sequel. Saturday Night Fever. Yeah.
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah. So they were saying, I think that was '83, and also, mind you, like John Travolta was pretty hot still in the '80s at this point.
Yeah.
Sure.
When's Grease?
Huh?
When's Grease?
Is it '86?
So yeah, I mean,
I can't remember when Grease came out because I remember the later 80s.
78.
Holy shit! Really? It's that
Mhm.
old?
Yeah.
Well,
I didn't know that.
wow.
Damn.
I would have thought early 80s, but
what's called? So he was going to be in it, and Stallone didn't really like that. Kind of wrote that out. They wanted more of a solo mission, just like the first one. So James Cameron said in an interview not too long ago where he said basically, if you watch the movie, a lot of the action is his, and then Stallone was the person who brought in a lot of the politics. But he did say like there wasn't that much actually left over from him writing the script, and it was kind of like he was like, I don't really know why I got a credit on it, but they just they chose to add him, which is it's kind of cool because that happens a lot of time in Hollywood where someone can like actually start a script and then someone take over and they don't even show them credit for it whatsoever, and they could have wrote half of the freaking movie,
Sure.
and then they just throw them off. Like
I guarantee, I would say, I guarantee you, I know why they put him on this, because this is 85, right?
Yeah, 85.
Mhm.
And you know what he did in 84, correct? The Terminator.
Terminator, yes.
Yeah.
So when you put from like on a screenplay from the director of the Terminator, yeah, I mean that's automatically going to bring other people in because like you said with the box office, this was almost 3 times the amount of the first film. So for a lot of people, this was their first watching of a Rambo movie too, and a lot of it might have had. I bet you there was some kind of advertisements saying, "Hey, James Cameron was involved with this, and he did Terminator a year before this."
Oh yeah, I wouldn't doubt that at all. I do know another thing that Stallone brought to the script, which is awfully different, but the fifth one, they play a little bit on the fifth one, is the love interest, the kind of love storyline that they added to, which kind of it's weird because it doesn't really have a place in here, but it's rememberable enough because like he kept that, he kept that going throughout the franchise. Like I said, they really call back to it. Like the fifth one, they recall back to the first one, they call back to the second one. It does a little good, like keeping that whatever, like the continuity fluent and stuff like that. And then like I do know they wanted to film the movie in Thailand, but they find out like it was very difficult. Like the terrain was much harder than they anticipated. So they end up going to Acapulco, Mexico. But the problem with that one is it just ended up being the exact same as Thailand. Like once they got in, it was like super difficult to shoot in. Which is kind of funny because like, you know, at that point they should just stayed in Thailand, actually shot it over in like in Asia and stuff like that. But like the set was crazy. They actually like planted real rice paddies and stuff like that, and actually started to grow through the filming
The
and stuff like
the rice stocks, yeah.
Yeah, that's the cool thing is you have no idea this is Mexico at all. And that was the thing is like Acapulco is like more of a touristy place. And the director was like, well, 30 minutes from where everyone's staying at is a purified jungle. And so they literally like they could shoot there and just be 30 minutes away from like, you know, actual real civilization. It's pretty crazy. Cause like I said, you like telling this, like you have no idea that's not freaking Vietnam or Southeast Asia, whatever. You know what I mean?
Landlocked country in Southeast Asia.
So another thing is, did y'all ever play? Did you play the Metal Gear Solid series?
Yes,
No.
I did. Yeah.
Did you play 3? Snake Eater.
What is that the one where Raiden is introduced, or is that 2?
No, that's the second one.
Okay.
3 is when it like takes place in like the 70s, and it is the Rambo style.
Yeah. Yep. Okay, I was talking about. Yep.
So there's
That
a funny
the last.
part, like,
I think it's the last one I played because I didn't. 4 is the world builder, right? Where you have to have a whole sandbox.
No. 4's the one where it's the future. You go into the future.
Which is the one that's a sandbox, like where you build the fort and everything.
It could be 5.
I think it's got to be 5. Okay.
Yeah, it could be 5 because I think there's 6 total. One's a world builder, like you were talking about, and then one is like another storyline, but it was like half-assed, and it's like
that's the one after Kojima left. So yeah, the 5 is the last one I think Kojima did.
Gotcha. But the cool thing is, it's like so if you get like an LMG in it, you get the Rambo gun.
Oh, cool.
Like if you just shoot it, and I can't remember if the thing was you had to take your shirt off or not, or I think you could have, but I think it was if you took your shirt off. I tried to find video footage of it on YouTube. I couldn't find it anywhere. And I don't have a way to capture it on my own copy or whatever. But if you took because you can change your clothes because it's literally like Dusty. It's like he's Rambo. Like Snake becomes Rambo.
He's already got
that
everything.
Like that picture you found of us, right?
Yeah.
I meant to say this earlier when you were asking us about our first memories and stuff of this. Another early memory of Rambo for me, and I meant to bring this up earlier, and I don't know if either one of you probably, I'm sure you do know, but the green Jello song, Three Little Pigs.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so
with James Hetfield and
well, it's Maynard Keenan. Maynard Keenan's the one that's in the song that goes "Little Pig, Little Pig."
Yeah, but that's Les Claypool, like right? That's Primus that does that.
That's Maynard Keenan from Tool.
Why did I think my entire life that was Les Claypool?
No, it's Maynard James Keenan from Tool. So actually, I think Danny Carey's on that album as well.
But yes, I know what you're talking about.
But yeah, so at the end of that song, there's a claymation video for it. And at the very end of the song, he's like, where the little pigs are taking on a big bad wolf. He goes, and they sent out Rambo. It's a claymation Rambo. He said, "Hey, yo, wolf face. Hey, wolf face, your ass is mine." He goes, the snare's going,
yeah.
You should definitely check that out. It's Green Jello. The song's called Three Little Pigs. You can find it on YouTube.
Yeah, I'll check it out after this. Well, that's funny because they also because it was such a pop culture thing. They make fun of it they make fun of Rambo on UHF.
Okay, so I'm gonna say that I've said this about when Paul made me watch Raiders for the first time. This movie is ruined for me because of UHF. because the whole time I just seen fucking Weird Al running around
It
in
makes
the
sense because
muscle
it's a
suit.
complete ripoff. It's a complete ripoff.
Oh yeah, but I need to know who did it better. Who wore the red headband better, Rambo, Weird Al, or Gizmo?
Oh yeah.
Oh, Gizmo, 100%.
I'm going with Weird Al, baby.
You can't.
Ah!
Or hey, Charlie Sheen and Hot Shots Part 2.
Yeah.
I loved you in
Oh,
Wall
Rambo.
Street. So
Yeah, no.
so we were watching it the other night, and I'm sure we'll get to it. But like, it's the scene where he sees the chicken. It just makes me think of every time I see it. It makes me think of the Hot Shots Part 2, where he picks up the chicken and uses it as an arrow.
Yeah.
But like in the Metal Gear Solid, so when you if you get the like, LMG, you just start shooting it. If you just leave the trigger and keep on shooting it, he eventually does the Rambo yell. And he just points it into the sky and just starts shooting.
Oh man.
So hold on.
And
I'm
go
sorry.
ahead, yeah.
I didn't mean to backtrack. So,
no, you're fine.
Dustin, both you and me were right. So there's 3 little pigs. One of them is Les Claypool. One of them
I knew it.
One of them is Maynard James Keenan, and the other is Pauly Shore.
Pauly Shore.
Yep.
No, shut the fuck up. No.
This is I swear to God, it's 1990. You got to remember the song came out in 93.
No, I know.
Yeah. So like, so Pauly Shore is the shit at that point. So.
Oh, that's when he's probably like all over MTV and shit.
Yep.
Yeah.
This song was all over MTV. That video was literally on every minute of the day.
It's Primus animation. That's like I seen it. I'm like, there's no way you can tell me that it wasn't less.
Yeah, it's claymation. So like the video is literally claymation. It's pretty cool.
Well, yeah.
Sorry, I didn't mean to backtrack.
Anyways,
no, you're fine. You're fine. What's called a funny cool thing is another thing that I found out was so apparently the original person that was going to be the Russian lieutenant colonel was actually they hired Dolph Lundgren.
That would have been so much better because
could you imagine?
Mike, this is before Rocky 4. This is before Rocky 4, and that's why Stallone pulled him out. He's like, no, like they like because like they like no. Once they found out that he was going to be in Rocky 4 as the Russian, they're like, we can't be in 2 movies together.
If he
and
dies,
so like they kind of like
dies.
I'm sure they paid him. I think they paid him off and like no, we're going to save you for Rocky 4 later in the year.
So this guy they got in this role is a British guy being a Russian guy with a German accent. Like it, dude, his Russian accent is straight up German. The whole time we were talking about watching, I was like, this guy sounds like a Nazi fucking leader. Like he's just Das Rambo.
Das Rambo.
He's playing almost the same character from Beverly Hills Cop because he's the bad guy in Beverly Hills Cop as well.
Yeah. But I was convinced up until now, like just recently, that the Russian dude's right hand, the muscle, you know?
Yeah.
That I thought that was Vinnie Mac for the whole time I was watching the movie.
Is that the guy from Snatch?
Yes.
That's who I thought it was too. That's exactly who I thought it was too.
It's not him. He looks, I'm like, that's the Sphinx from fucking Gone in 60 Seconds.
Yeah. From like
it's the Juggernaut, bitch.
I know people shit on that all the time. I think when I heard that in theaters, when he says that, I laughed. I loved it. I don't care. Like, I know people thought it was just like I thought it was hilarious because that was my generation watching that at school, literally watching the
get out of my head, Charles.
Too fast.
Get out of my head.
They said, Mumu Gwegwe Vaitita, Mumu Gwegwe Vaitita.
Oh, my fucking helmet.
He said, you catch up mustard looking motherfucker. He said, I'm the juggernaut. When he did that first, that was honestly one of the first examples of meme culture. Like, if you think about it, it wasn't really
probably.
Yeah, because I remember seeing it in theater like you and went, I said, he said the thing. He said the thing.
Yeah. I thought that was him that was whooping the piss out of Rambo. I thought that was Vinnie Mac the whole time up until just 10 minutes ago. And I was kind of let down, but because he's spit an image.
He's not the juggernaut, bitch.
He's not. And he's also not the other Vinnie Mac that's in trouble right now. Vince McMahon is what I'm talking about.
Oh, okay. Got it. I was like, I didn't know I couldn't get the reference.
Yeah.
So I don't know if y'all know, but like through Sylvester Stallone's career, he always finds ways to bring his brother in and stuff like that. Like his brother's in the Rocky franchise as like a singer, and this one. So the song at the very end of the movie, "Peace in Our Life" is the Rambo song. It's the like only song that has words, and they plays at the end of the movie. That is actually Frank Stallone. It's sung by his brother.
Hey, Frankie.
So he'll always have residuals.
Yep, there you go. Making money somehow, man.
But yeah, it's funny because like I can't like it's like a trope like kind of thing that he always just bring like same thing like James Gunn. James Gunn has his brother in like every freaking thing that he
Oh
works
yeah,
Yeah, but at least he's
Clinton, Ron Howard.
yeah, Clinton, Ron Howard.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
Ted Raimi, Sam Raimi.
Clint,
Oh yeah.
Clint Howard is the single reason MTV stopped handing out the Lifetime Achievement Award because it was no joke. It was a joke every year. They would give it out to something funny, or they gave it out to Chewie one year, like Chewbacca, and they gave it to Clint Howard because he's always that guy in the movie. Not talking about like a comic or wrote, and he actually came out, accepted the award, and was truly grateful to get the award. And everyone went, "Oh, this isn't funny anymore." So they because like it's like it was because the guy was grateful, and then
he seems like the nicest fucking dude ever.
That's what I've heard about him. But yeah, at least with Sean Gunn, like at least he brings something to the screen. Frank Stallone is fucking watching paint dry, like that. Dude, that dude is.
Hey, Frankie. I just imagine Sylvester Stallone looking like fucking Frank Sinatra. Yeah, in the Rat Pack, but it's Frankie Stallone.
Well, that's the funny thing. You go to if you watch the Rocky 3 where he's playing and performing while he's boxing. I mean, you're not too far off there, Dusty. That's literally like the character, almost kind of like thing. He's like a showman, like singer or whatever.
Oh boy, like the guy in Cool World.
Yes, yeah. That movie is.
We don't have time in the day.
Garbage.
It's garbage.
It's garbage.
I know. I listened to y'all's episode. To hear someone talk for almost an hour about a movie that's awful, it reminds you how awful it is. You're like, I don't even know if I can listen to the episode. It's so bad.
Bad.
Movie's so bad.
Movie is bad.
For some reason, I thought that movie was the coolest shit when I was little. I thought it was so cool. I thought it was so, and I couldn't wait. I would see the Super Nintendo video game at Video Villa to rent. I didn't have a Super Nintendo, had a Sega, so I couldn't ever rent it. I'm like, that game's gotta be so freaking cool to play.
It's almost like it's a cool world.
Yeah, Hollywood.
Holly shouldn't.
That's what I got.
So the last thing I got before we'll have Paul read the back of the VHS tape. Did you ever watch the Rambo show?
The animated series?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it came out a year after this, basically in '86. And the intro is the Rambo intro to him suiting up. It's literally the dum dum, dum dum. And they're like,
see fucking arms going like this.
Yeah, 100%.
Greasing up.
So I don't know if you can see right here, but I've got some animation cells. This one's from Ghostbusters. I have a Beetlejuice one above it. But the website that I got those from, they have some of the Rambo cells.
Oh, that's awesome. It's not that bad, to be honest. If you go back and look at the animation, and mind you, this predates RoboCop. So this was the first rated R franchise to make a cartoon show of a rated R franchise.
What is it called? Was it a Reagan show? Is that what they call it?
Reaganomics?
No, it's Rambo and the Freedom Fighters, I think it is called.
No. Yeah, this is sell toys.
Yeah, no, this. I mean, it's the same era because you still have He-Man.
Oh yeah, I have 2 of the toys off screen. I have Rambo and one of his sidekick buddies. But yeah, like now, like after like watching it, like because the toys they're very weird looking because they're bigger than any toy that came out at that point in time. Like every toy at that point in time was either 3 1/4 or like whatever the Star Wars scale, or the He-Man scale. And these are actually taller than He-Man.
Okay,
Damn. It's
very weird, and they're unproportionate. They have like super long legs, but he has these like short, stubby arms.
Well, it's because it was a cheap syndicated cartoon, so they probably got some lower level like toy manufacturer to make them.
Oh yeah, I mean they basically were what they were doing. Literally, it has nothing to do with mind you that obviously it was a popular franchise. We talk about how much money they made, and it was big at the time. But also at the time, that's when GI Joe was getting really big. So they just wanted to
quick
put something out. put something out there just like G.I. Joe and stuff like that. And I will say, like, the toys are very unique and they're kind of cool. There's some really cool like info commercials of like the action figures and what they come with and stuff like that. And um like they have like spacesuits and like one guy has a metal arm with a
God
claw.
damn it. Rambo in space?
Dude,
What?
like, I don't know if you could see it.
No.
I don't know if you could see that there. That's the packaging there. It has like a symbol that says the force of
Is
force.
Rambo like Jeff? Is he Jeff Goldbluming it, like laying down in
No.
a right angle? Is that what that was?
But it says
Oh.
Rambo, brave, daring, heroic. No man can stop him.
Oh, shit!
I need to see.
I'm
you're about
gonna
to find-
I'm gonna go back to Rambo in space.
Hey, no man, no law, no war can stop him. Is the tagline of this one.
Sergeant Havoc is another character.
God damn
I'm trying to find out.
General Troutman, he's in there. He's like he works with him and on the show and everything. It's pretty. It's not actually that bad. Like I said, if you like the RoboCop show, it's just like the RoboCop show. I think the RoboCop show was set in 87 or 88, but I think it was 87 or something like that. It was soon after this.
Okay. Yeah, I know about them. We have good friends that do a cartoon show called Cartoon Dumpster Dive that they've gone over all these like the movie centralized cartoons. So yeah, I was well aware of the Rambo. I want to check it out, to be honest. That I really want to watch the RoboCop one because I fucking love RoboCop.
Oh yeah, the RoboCop one's great. The RoboCop one's great because
does he have this thing that comes out and he stabs a person in the ear?
Well, the funny thing is like it's like because there's tons of memes out there, but one of my favorite ones that I saw was I don't know if it was a Macy's or JCPenney's ad, and it's all these kids wearing clothes of rated R franchises, but cartoon versions of the rated R franchise. So they're pajamas of RoboCop, pajamas of Rambo, and stuff like that. And it's funny how like, mind you, I was at the tail end of the 80s, but the 80s was really just like, this is the Wild Wild West when it comes to shit like this.
Yeah,
it's crazy.
Literally making a quick buck. Like, I mean, it's the action movie the dad can watch, but it can appeal to the kid because it's a cartoon. Like Hanna-Barbera did that with Godzilla, right? Like is that around the same time?
Oh, that's probably 70s.
The 70s,
right?
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. But I mean, the same difference. If like the parents wouldn't let the kids watch Godzilla the movies, they had the medium of the cartoon to watch. So I feel like this is a little bit safer for parents. Like, you can watch the Rambo cartoon.
So
because there's no babes in it, there's no explosions, there's no throat rips.
The company that made those toys was Coleco, as in ColecoVision. So Coleco also made Cabbage Patch toys. And they actually went bankrupt 2 years after that cartoon. The last major thing the last major thing they did was Alf toys. But
Oh, that's awesome. Yeah, I was an early birthday present. But Becca got me the Alf phone.
Oh, that's awesome.
It's dude, it's so fucking cool, man.
I've got one of the original puppets with the Hawaiian shirt on it.
Yeah, I've got so off screen I've got the Alf, I think 87 doll, not the talking one, because I think talking one where you could like he actually would talk back to you and stuff like that. I don't have that one. I have just the plush doll, and then she got me the phone, which was the funny thing is I had actually been looking on eBay and I found one, and I was just like, oh, that's too much. I don't want to spend that. And like literally, shit you not, 2 weeks later, she's like, I can't wait for it to come in the mail, and it's not even my birthday yet. My birthday's like for another 2 months. She's like, but I got to tell you. I was like, all right, what did you get me? And I was like, I would never guess that. And she's like, I got you the Alf phone. I'm like, what? Like it just blew my mind. I was like, how?
Did she just see
something
eBay,
I want?
Your eBay search history? Do y'all share an eBay account?
No, it's just
okay.
She doesn't.
I know. It's just like I can't look on anything on Amazon because Holly would instantly know if I'm looking at shit on Amazon.
All right. So, Paul, you want to read the back of the VHS? Usually Becca does it, but Paul's volunteered as tribute to do it today.
Paul, you got that back in the box.
Back in the box. It says, Rambo First Blood Part 2 is the explosive hit that established Rambo as the ultimate action hero of the 80s. In search of American POWs, John Rambo is sent on a secret and dangerous mission in Vietnam, only to discover he's been double-crossed by his superiors. Armed with just his bow arrows, and knife, Rambo is left to fend for himself in the fierce and hostile jungle. Beating the very deadly odds, this dynamo vows to take revenge on those who double-crossed him. Richard Crenna co-stars in the phenomenon that's a must for every action-adventure fan.
That's awesome. You did a great job.
He gets plenty of practice. He does it on our show.
Yeah, I practice it like 3 to 4 times like earlier today. I was like, okay, all right, I'm gonna do a good job. And then once you pulled up the VHS off air, I was like, oh, perfect. You can read it, Paul.
The first time we started doing it, Dustin read the first time, and he was like, "You know what? Fuck it, Paul, you read it." And I was like,
done. The first time I was reading like an IMDb thing. It was like, I think it was like Teen Titans Go.
Yeah, it was pretty early,
or something like that. But it was like I couldn't like it wasn't worded correctly on the screen either. It's like I'm sitting there looking like an idiot trying to read this paragraph somebody wrote. I'm like, you know what, Paul, you just do it.
All right, so we'll start off in the movie. So it opens up. It's been 5 years since the first one. Rambo is basically doing time for the events of the first Rambo movie. Troutman comes up to Rambo and he has a mission. Basically, there's words of POWs that need to be rescued, and the mission is if he goes over and chooses to accept it to rescue said POWs, that he will be pardoned from all the events from the first movie, and the U.S. government will let him basically free, so he no longer has to do this.
Did you notice what they were using in the jail yard, though?
Yeah, pickaxe.
A fucking wheelbarrow.
That goes back to the episode 36. If y'all can't remember, we couldn't understand what Jason was holding in his hand. Well, it was pickaxe, which is what he's using in this one. But yeah, so it's funny. I don't know if y'all paid attention to this part, but like when he gives them the mission, he's like, oh, "Do you want to do this?" I swear to God, he sits there for like 20 seconds and goes, "Yeah." I was like, did it really take you that long?
But I mean, he talks about the people, like he knows where he stands in this crowd of people. So I guess it was like he was really contemplating the fact that, do I want to go risk my life for people who don't fucking care about me? Or I know where I stand here. You know, I mean, I get it. I mean,
well, they tug on his heartstrings because the only thing he does care about were his fellow veterans. That's the only thing. Is because he knows how they're treated. And it becomes an overlying story later on, and the driving reason why he does what he does.
Yeah. And the thing is, this movie is full of this is like the perfect action movie if you like one-liners, because there's one-liners all through this movie.
Yeah.
And I know you're rolling your eyes, Dusty, but I love this shit. I know you're not a big fan of
what
action
I mean,
movies.
Because you said the word, you said the one-liners, and when we get to the part, I'm going to talk about it. But it's literally all Stallone says for a solid 6-minute interaction with somebody is one fucking word. And
100%.
We're going to get to it.
Yeah. So the one that he says, this one, it's like, he's like, sorry, or whatever. He's like, do we get to win this time? And he said, that's up to you, Rambo.
And then he puts on his glasses and you hear, yeah. In the back.
you hear the Who play in the back.
Yeah.
He said,
it's funny because so in the first Rambo movie, in an interview with Stallone, he said that he took a lot of his lines out of the film because he said when he talks too much in movies, people can't understand what he says. So he literally removed lines from the original script and rewrote it because he knew people have a hard time hearing him pronounce words.
Did he write the script for this, or
no?
Was it just in the movie?
Well, you talking about Stallone?
He took it over after James Cameron.
So Stallone took over after Cameron.
Yeah. Basically, he rewrote. Basically, to my understanding, because there's two things online. One part that I read said like a lot of the action scenes were James Cameron's action scenes that he wrote. And then also there's another thing that also is quoting James Cameron saying there's hardly any of the stuff that I wrote still in the movie. But so James Cameron's been quoted saying both things. So I don't really know what is actually James Cameron's stuff.
So they probably kept his set pieces, like far as like you're saying the action pieces, but the dialogue is none of it is his. As far as like the story beats aren't his anymore.
Yeah.
So this dialogue and story beats are Stallone writing, right? Is that what you're saying?
It's him and somebody else. It's two writers, correct?
Because
a producer got with him to help write I didn't. That's the only person I never put down. I didn't put down the third writer.
Because Logan, the way you explained it just now, I in my brain was imagining Stallone deciding amongst himself to stop talking, and they're like line, and he turns around and just like looks at them.
No,
just intimidates them, and he's like, "All right, everybody, don't gotta say anything."
No,
never mind.
Like
all right.
Kevin Jarre was his name. Jarre.
Oh, okay. I thought Stallone was also someone.
They're the writer of the book gets a credit too because his character is based off of his storyline. Okay. Which I stated in our review, our first review of the First Blood, the book. I know like a lot of people like it. I did not like the book at all. Like I would rather watch the movie tenfold than go back and listen to or read the book.
I've never read it.
Yeah,
I can't. It's depressing, and Rambo just kills people. Like there's no way you can read the book and be on the side of Rambo because he kills a lot of innocent people in that movie. I mean, the book. He kills a lot of people. Like, and that's the one thing Stallone took out of it. He's like, well, we want to make sure he's a hero. So let's not have him killed.
And yeah, you want to feel sorry for his character. Like you
don't feel sorry for his character at all in the book because he kills people that didn't need to be killed. Like it's, and then he also dies at the end of the book too. Spoiler alert. And I will say that when he dies at the end of the book, he writes his death, like what's going through Rambo's head as he dies. That part was actually pretty cool. That's one part I did like about the book because when he's like, he basically gets shot in the face. And like it is his word of like him going through the blackness and stuff like that and him passing away. I thought that was pretty cool, but that's the only part I actually liked of it. So now we fast forward. Rambo has accepted the mission, and he is basically going to meet up with the crew. We get our introduction to like two major characters. We get Erickson and Murdoch, which is the main dude calling the shots of the mission. What do you got, Dusty?
Oh no, this guy. Paul, did I tell you about him?
He sent me a screen cap and said, "This motherfucker."
and I sent him a picture of Murdoch because the only thing I seen when this asshole was on the screen was the singer from the Good Old Boys from the Blues Brothers, because he's the lead singer of the fucking Blues Brothers. So I'm assuming his career didn't go anywhere with that in the band. So
he's been tons of movies. Like I'm talking about like a shitload of not good movies, but he is dying to be as deep.
I'm just saying, man, when he walked on screen, I heard you're going to have trouble chewing with no fucking teeth. I just instantly, it's the Blues Brothers, dude. Like that's that son of a bitch.
What's the same thing with Erickson? It's Martin Cove. I couldn't.
Oh, Karate Kid. Yeah,
that's all I could see. Like, yes, Sensei.
Cobra Kai.
Fuck Murdoch, dude. Fuck that guy.
So we get the more fleshed out version of the mission. The mission is he is going to go back over to Southeast Asia. He is going to find these camps that might have POWs in them, or they might not. He has been told to not extract them. That he's not part of the extraction team. It's more observation. And then the extraction team will go back in and then save the POWs. But his job is just to take pictures. And like I said, this quotes galore after this. So when Rambo walks away, you get Troutman and Murdoch talking to each other. And the way he just there's nothing better to like fuel an action movie. He describes Rambo as a pure fighting machine with only one desire to win a war that someone else lost. If winning means he'll die, he'll die. What's called with no fear and no regrets. What better describes action character than anything like that?
So another thing, because I don't know what part it is, but the fact I want to do a drinking game every time fucking Sylvester Stallone says expendable. And I'm just like, and I'm like,
Oh my god, dude! Every time he said that in this movie, I'm like, get the fuck
and
out
that's
of here,
when I'm
man.
watching, I go, oh yeah, that's where he got the name for the franchise.
Yeah,
That makes sense.
it's expendable.
I'm expendable. We're expendable. What's expendable?
So yeah, we get this really cool his suit up scene, which is super badass. It plays that music I was telling you about, which is the same intro to the same intro to the cartoon. And he heads off to the POWs. He gets in uh the plane, they go up in the air, and it's jump time, and his satchel or his basically jump harness has got caught. And when I first watched the movie, I'm like, I thought
How?
it. Well, here's the thing: is I was like, did that get caught, or you just never unhook it before you jumped? Because that's what I thought it looked like. It looked like it was already hooked, and he just never unhooked it before he
So he
jumped.
just jumped out and went, oh shit.
I mean, that's what I was thinking. Like, for some reason, the way it looks like it's hooked. And the funny thing is, like, also, it's hooked, and this guy's trying to unhook him. It's like, first off, there is no way in hell you're gonna lift
Oh,
what's
no
called
way.
Stallone with one arm or so to pull him up to unhook him. That's just not
Yeah,
even
and
gonna
why the
happen.
wind, you're going 150 miles an hour,
Yeah.
and the wind is pulling.
Oh yeah. I had no idea why he didn't think himself to like cut the line, because Rambo cuts the line. They're like, he'll be tore to shreds. Like, but Rambo cuts the line, he doesn't get tore to shreds. So like, I thought it was kind of dumb. It's more of like, just felt like a plot device to take away all his weapons, that because the first one we didn't get all that cool stuff. He had to find it. And this one was like, oh, cool. He's going to get a bunch of like cool fucking shit. And he's just going to use all these cool new weapons, and it just gets taken away.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think, well, like I said, it just seems like more of a plot device to write the story. Like, oh no, we got to do what's sold on the first one, guerrilla warfare. Okay, let's put him right back in guerrilla warfare. He's got to do everything himself.
Yeah. No, but I did that fucking Bowie knife he has though is
Oh yeah, that's so
That's
fucking
not
cool,
a
man.
knife.
pretty. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Right.
I haven't watched them in forever, but I do want to do the Crocodile Dundee franchise. I do want to
Oh,
try
yeah.
those out, because I love those when I was
I lo-
little. But I don't
I
know.
like the first one.
like-
After that, I'm good.
I didn't see the third one,
In
but
LA or
I like the
whatever.
second one. I like the second one too, but I can't remember. The third one is like late '90s or something like that. I
Might
remember
even
like
be
he's like
early
much older.
2000s, actually.
Oh
Yeah,
shit, maybe
it was
yeah.
a big gap.
Yeah. All right. So basically, Murdoch wants him to abort the mission because everything's like going snake, like snake haywire, and he ends up cutting off all his weapons and gets launched into the Southeast Asia, and he's way off his landing zone. So he has to backtrack and meet up with his point of contact. We get the cool snake scene where there's just a snake looking at him and like,
Dude.
he just fucking manhandles it.
Dude, I loved that, dude. That was so fucking cool. But it's like it's his sixth sense, you know. I mean, he can't hear the snake walking up on him, but he knows there's something fucking there, and he just turns around and grabs that. Exactly. Yeah, grabs that bitch and chokes that chicken, and then lets it go. Yeah, gives it a big old moochie.
Gives him a little kiss.
All right, and so Rambo meets up with his contact, which he's about to kill, and then he finds out, you know, obviously it's a woman that he was not told that his contact was going to be a woman, which I think was the whole point. Like, you know, what's more, less, you know, what's
intimidating or
so
less conspicuous.
Imposing.
Conspicuous, whatever.
Conspicuous.
Conspicuous.
So this is what Julie Nichols. So
Julia Nixon.
Julia Nixon. Okay.
Julia Nixon.
Yeah. So she's Satori in one of our most recent episodes we covered of Double Dragon.
And Paul, did you know?
Oh shit! Well, she was in another movie.
Satori's dead.
Yeah.
Satori's dead.
Satori's dead.
Satori is dead.
Yeah,
but no,
she's
man,
still making movies.
Oh yeah, dude. But she popped up on the screen, man. What throws me off with her, dude, is her eyes are just like. I don't understand they have the black circle around the outside, but like they're like almost like a a light tan, and then her pupil, dude. That's very captivating.
Yeah, her
Yeah. Well,
I
she's
love
very
it.
pretty. I'll say she's
Oh
very
yeah,
pretty.
very much so.
Yeah, and it's funny because like she
How
says
many
people
thumbs up,
still come up.
Paul?
3.
What?
3
3
thumbs
thumbs
way up.
She says people still come up to her and they're like, she's like, you're not expendable. People still say that to her.
Oh my goodness, dude.
Um,
Yeah, but no, Paul texted me that. He goes, "That's Satori." I'm like, "You're full of shit." And I went and looked,
Yes,
and I'm like,
it's her
"Yeah,
first movie. It's her very first.
this
Yep,
one,
it's her very
this
first
is
movie. Yep.
okay, cool, yeah."
Um,
It was just coincidence that's how close the episodes were.
well, there was one movie. I remember she was in a major. She wasn't. I was looking up her IMDb. She was in one major film, but she was uncredited. She had a little small role, but it was like a really big film because most of her movies she's in, she's like small characters. It's not like huge, like successful films or anything like
You're
that.
probably talking about Sidekicks with Jonathan Brandis and
Oh God, you talking one of the best movies ever
dude,
made with Chuck
I
Norris?
love that fucking movie, dude.
Dude,
Dude,
that movie
Paul.
was so freaking cool. The torture scene
Oh, she's in
when
Ready
they're
Player One.
stretching them.
Sorry.
I was gonna say she was in Ready Player
That was it. That
One.
was it.
Paul,
Yeah, that's it. That's it. Yeah.
Paul
Yeah.
loves that fucking movie.
Dude, yeah. Dustin, have you ever seen Sidekicks?
No,
You would like
Dude.
Sidekicks.
Dude.
You'd like Sidekicks.
okay.
So
It's-
Sidekicks
I'll write it down.
You tell
yeah,
it, Paul.
Sidekicks is basically if you are a young boy growing up in the 90s who liked action films, you were Jonathan Brandis' character. Like you literally just daydreamed about being an action hero. And that's literally what he does. He daydreams about being in these movies with Chuck Norris. And so like he ends up going into a martial arts tournament, like Karate Kid style, and he needs like another partner, right? If I remember correctly, and like Chuck Norris steps up to like help him or something. Like it's been so long since I've seen it.
Fuck you,
But he
Chuck
finally
Norris.
gets to meet Chuck Norris, like at the end of the movie. But
oh hell yeah!
but it's really cool. Like he'll be in school, like daydreaming, like that he's in like whatever the random fucking Chuck Norris Vietnam movie from the 70s he'd be in or whatever.
Okay,
dude, it's really good.
It's a ton of fun.
I'm telling
It's
you,
a ton
man,
of fun.
it is great.
It's
Especially like it is like when it's one of those best, like it's one of those really good like child films that even as an adult you could go watch and like, oh man, this is good.
It's 90s
yeah,
as shit.
Last Action Hero.
Yes. It's kind of like it predates Last Action Hero, I
Yes, by
think,
2
but it's
years.
kind of like that. Where
Okay.
like there's this fictional character and he's thinking of himself being in the movies. Well, it's basically like scenarios that he has to get through, and he kind of like he like disassociates with what's going on and fantasizes about this to like kind of like cope or compensate with whatever major event is causing, like like he may have to make a tough decision with friends or some kind of shit like that. You know what I mean?
Dude,
Yeah. Okay.
really
so
cool.
the director of Sidekicks director of Sidekicks did nothing but Chuck Norris films. But dude, the cast: Bo Bridges, Mako. Mako is the voice of Aku and General Iroh. He's a famous Japanese voice actor. Jonathan Brandis,
Okay.
Julia Nixon, Richard Mall, Joe Piscopo, obviously Chuck Norris, and dude, Alan Silvestri did the music for this movie. Alex Silvestri did fucking Back to the Future, Who Framed Roger Rabbit, like just
Oh wow.
yeah, dude, fucking Forrest Gump. Like he did fucking big time movies, and he did Sidekicks. So
yeah, I'll check it out.
All right, so back to the movie. Basically, him and his contact Co are going to get on a boat that's basically being ran by pirates. They're paying them off to go down the river because that's the safest way to go down the river. We do get a little like hint of like some foreshadowing of like what's going on in Vietnam or Southeast Asia right now, because they're worried about patrol boats and what happens if they see a patrol boat and they show they have a RPG, but it's a Russian RPG, which doesn't like they're like, okay, why is there Russian weaponry here? You know what I mean? And this is the famous art, we go through the expendable speech, and she's like, what is expendable, as we already talked about. But But so they end up paying them off. They get down the river, they get out, and they find the camp. When they first find out the camp, it looks like it's empty. But then we see the psycho girl, what's called, show up. And it's so funny because when she shows up, she's on her little moped and she just goes, "Psycho girl, whore from village." And I'm like, you judgy bitch. Who are you to judge her how she earns her money? Okay. She's got to make a living.
Working girl.
Regardless, let's do whatever she wants to do. Hey, she is a strong, independent woman, and she's got to
That's what I'm saying.
Everybody got it. Everybody got to eat.
Hey, didn't stop them from looking at the menu.
Yeah.
That's all I'm saying. Both of them, their jaws are on the fucking floor. I don't want to hear nothing.
But it was so funny when that happened. I was like, oh God, you judge much, lady. Jesus. But yeah, so basically Rambo's going to end up getting closer. He starts to pull out his compact bow because it was the one weapon, him and his knife are like the only thing that he typically had left over from the battle. Not battle, sorry, him leaving the plane or whatever. And he gets closer and he does find out, there actually are POWs there, which is a shock because technically they were stated that there wasn't many POWs. And that kind of leads us into like, okay, what's going on here? Because Rambo at the beginning of the film, he already had he had some suspicion with Murdoch because he already caught Murdoch in a lie where he basically says he was part of a certain battalion during the war. And then Rambo has knowledge of that battalion. He's like, well, actually that battalion wasn't there. It was over here. So he already knows like Murdoch's a bullshitter. Yeah. And he only, that's why he had the thing. He's like, I only trust you, Troutman. Yeah.
Yeah.
So basically he finds, what's called a POW. He ends up letting him loose. And we get this like first actual in combat fight scenes where, he throws a knife directly at a guy. Which is just ridiculous shit. I mean, this is perfect 80s action movie shit, like throwing knives, fucking when he starts getting people with arrows right through their skull. It's awesome.
Dude. Yeah, but no, he found him I think it was like strung up.
Yeah.
And then he's like, holy shit, there are people here, so he cuts him down. And it's one of those things where Rambo's literally like a one-legged man in an ass-kicking contest right now. He's carrying this POW with him while annihilating everybody in this fucking camp.
Yeah, and it's great because and then one thing he cuts him down, but then he also goes over the prison cell with all the other ones, and I think some of them might be dead. I'm not sure because it's just really quick. But we see obviously there's a whole cell full of them, and I guess apparently this guy's been punished, so that's why he's been strung up.
It was his turn or something. It was like his turn for the week.
Yeah,
he said, he goes. It's my turn. So, I don't think any are dead because later on when he does eventually come back, all of them empty out of that cage.
Yeah, true. You're right about that.
Yeah.
So they end up basically at this point. Now we got Rambo, Co, and Pow, which is basically making their way to the boat. And they got on the boat. They think they've got made it out. I got one guy. I can go back in with the extraction team or whatever and get more. And this is when we find out basically the pirates have ratted them out. And they're basically selling them to the Vietnamese or whatever it might be. Which this is when the action really kicks up. Like you get this fucking awesome scene where he pulls out those tiny little daggers you saw him put away earlier. And it's set up, payoff, set up, payoff. That's what this movie is. It's set up and pay off. It's perfect. But then
and then we get in all its glory. We get in all its glory that fucking rocket launcher.
Oh yeah, 100%. That once again it comes right back, set up and pay off.
That's where Indiana Jones got his from in Raiders. He just found it in his fucking boat.
I think it's crazy too. It's like you get the shot, right? Like it shows him, if you're looking at him in his face and he shoots the RPG, right? And as he shoots it, like it's instantaneous. Like they don't, because I'm guessing money and no way to show him actually shooting a missile. It's just
Traveling.
it's just and then like split second later the boat is exploding. There's no showing of the projectile or anything. It's just boom.
Yeah,
And then
so cool though.
it's crazy because there's also in one of the featurettes I was watching where they were saying when he get to the arrow scenes where he's shooting the arrow, apparently Stallone sat with the editors while they were editing the film, and he's like, they had set the film up to be stuff to be more like you were saying, Paul, like instantaneous, where he would shoot an arrow and automatically that person would be, obviously would hit them or whatever. And it was Stallone's idea. He's like, no. After I pull back my arm and let go, I want you to wait a second and then cut. And then I wanted you to wait a second before we see the explosion to have arrow travel time. And apparently that was
okay.
And that was a cool thing because when you see that, because he pulls back and goes let's go, and then it cuts to the convoy, and then all of a sudden 2 seconds later, then it blows up. You know what I mean?
But they did
Okay.
It's kind of
I was
cool.
gonna say he did the opposite though with the RPG. It was
yeah.
But it's one thing.
Yeah.
You have a bunch of there's a lot of weapons being fired in this, so I could see
a lot of explosions.
Yeah, I could see one being forgotten, but that is that because also too because right after he shoots, isn't there another guy up top? Right? Or am I mistaken?
Yeah, he stabs the guy.
Okay,
up top,
so
yeah.
that basically that's the thing is if he's shooting it and there's a delay, then in the next following scene doesn't make sense because that does need to be instantaneous because otherwise why would that guy just sit there and wait for him to shoot it? You know?
Yeah, because this is when he's walking off of the boat and then he gets caught with his throat, and then that's when he pulls his knife out and and gets him from the top. Which is funny too. If you watch the movie. Okay, I swear to God, Stallone went through with the SWAT. He did trainings with SWAT team to get prepared for this movie with handling weapons and stuff like that. I swear to God, man, this guy does not shoot a gun correctly at all through the entire film. You don't just shoot from your hip. I even I before I called myself and okay, maybe I don't know what the fuck I'm talking about. Then I watched up videos what is the proper way to shoot an AK-47, and not one video shows you aim from your hip.
You know what? If Rambo, if Satori lived, man, Rambo is what we consider a cocksman. He went to this other country, instantly found this woman, and was about to lay some pipe. I mean, Paul, I think that constitutes as a fucking cocksman.
Yeah, it's the other gun he was shooting from the hip.
That's the other one, yeah. Yeah. The one and done.
Yeah, there's so much kick in that. I would assume in that weapon. If you shot it down here, just go like this the moment you shot it.
Yeah,
yeah, man. You would turn with it, it would pull away from you or some shit.
Well, that's another
Especially
thing.
The bandolier, yeah. I mean, it's a big.
Well, when she
gun.
comes and saves him, and she has that Uzi or whatever with the silencer on it. She's holding the gun by the silencer.
Yep,
that thing is going to heat. It's going to burn a hole through her goddamn hand.
Yeah, it'll melt her hand to it. Yeah.
Oh, but it's funny because that's the thing is with these movies, no one ever movies are I guess from today's standards, people will actually make sure if you're going to shoot a film, especially a war film, that things are super accurate and stuff like that. You watch like Zero Dark 30
or even if you want to go over the top, John Wick. So Keanu Reeves has actual training, SWAT training and stuff like that, and you watch him when he runs out of ammo, he throws the gun away and he gets another gun.
You don't ever see him run out of ammo.
Yeah, no, but you do see him toss. You see him toss guns. You do see him run out of ammo. He's done it numerous times.
I just watched that whole franchise for the first time too. Back to back though.
But that's one of the things that's lauded in those films is that when he does the gun runs out, he tosses the gun, or he has backup ammo when he does change clips. He'll hit it, go back, click, click, and he'll hit. You see him a couple times where he runs out of ammo and uses it as a weapon, and he throws it away and it grabs the gun off of that person. So
yeah.
Yeah, and it's funny thing is to be honest, it probably just comes down to what looks fucking cool. I mean, what looks cool? This looks cooler than holding the arm. You can't see my pecs when I do that.
Yeah, but the thing is with that, man, is nowadays we have the internet to rip it apart. So.
Yeah, they didn't have that then.
Yeah,
Yeah, that was like our last episode. Becca was saying there's like, I hate it when people just like tear movies apart when they start questioning too
Well,
much stuff. I'm like, well, that's what podcasts
we're
are
just
for.
well,
Exactly.
We're just making funny observation of things that
we're,
just that people just
we're
didn't
a
think about.
very jaded generation of too. It's like we got to nitpick everything. Also, because I think we have so many options now. So if you're not good or
True.
something, we're gonna pick it apart because there's a better option than you. Whereas back then, people just like this stuff was new to them. So it was like this first time you saw an action movie that was shot this way that looked like this, and so they were just absorbing it and loving it and didn't bother to nitpick it because it wasn't part of the culture. There wasn't the
Yeah.
internet. There weren't podcasts. It was just, hey, we're gonna go to the movies and enjoy a movie and then go home. Like that's it.
Yeah, true.
Yeah. It's like Paul and I just recorded our 100th episode, and I was trying to poke holes in one of the most perfect movie ever made. And I'm like, yeah, you know what? I'm going to stop doing that.
Well, it's we're just being fun. Like we're not like it's still a good movie. We're just being playful.
Yeah,
like
yeah.
I said, we're not like it is still like
Paul.
No, I agree. Like I said, that's half the fun of doing what we're doing. It's like there is, as Dustin was saying, a perfect movie. There is no such thing as a perfect film. There's going to be mistakes.
Monster, bro.
Get the fuck out of here. There's going to be mistakes. It's just to err is human. So you're going to have mistakes and stuff that sneaks through, and it's just with a lot when you have something like a movie that has so many moving parts. Something's going to get through. Sometimes some movies have more than others.
So many oily pecs.
Yes. So many lathered up nipples.
There you go, man.
That was one thing when I drew the picture. I'm like, I'm not putting nipples on it because that's too much. That's
just
too
put
much.
some big old pepperonis on there, boy.
When I was drawing, I'm like, I'm not drawing nipples.
You mean the one you found on the internet? Is that what you're talking about?
Yeah, the one I found on the internet. Not the one that I drew.
No. What
I spent hours on drawing.
What he was saying is he found it on the internet, but that did have nipples on it, so he got rid of it. He got rid of the nipples.
That's what it.
He didn't want to offend people with the nipples.
Yeah. So this is Batman 89 and Batman Returns. We're not talking about Batman Forever here. Nipples didn't come out.
Free the tatas. Free the tatas, Logan. Free the tatas.
So this was one of my favorite parts actually in this movie was when they have Rambo captured.
And you can take this if you want. Go ahead, Dusty. You can talk about this one.
You get see not Germans come in there.
Rambo.
We
are totally Russian.
Russian, right? Dude, when he's sitting there like torturing this man, and he's like, all right, so I forget, he's like beating the shit out of him at first, right? And then the second, like the big one is like he pulls his knife out of the coals. He's like, all right, well, I'm gonna get you now. And then the German, Russian, British guy like puts two and two together and realizes why he's there. And he goes, okay, well, if your life doesn't matter, then what does his matter to you? And he's pointing at the POW, man. And that's when Rambo switch flipped. And then he's reading the fucking transmission that they intercepted. From,
the transcript. Yeah.
From the good old boys. He's like, just abort the mission, leave him there. Cause they end up leaving Rambo, like literally within arm's grasp of the helicopter. And he's reading this fucking transcript to him. And you just see Rambo just start turning fucking red, dude. Like he's seething. And they're like, all right, you need to call him and tell him where you're at. And Rambo's like, heard that.
That's what he basically tells Murdoch, hey, if you see him, tell him I'm gonna fuck him up.
What does he say? What does he say? He goes, he like Murdoch and Troutman are talking.
I'm coming to get you.
Well, Murdoch and Troutman are talking, and he goes, and Troutman's like, you forgot one thing. And Murdoch's like, what? And he goes, Rambo. Dude.
Or the scene when he grabs the mic. When he grabs the microphone, you just see him like you can tell he was probably doing some band work, flexing his forearms, get him nice and pumped before he grabbed the microphone, so his veins were all thirsty.
Yeah, but this is like a whole escape attempt because Julia Nixon is like underneath them, like Stallone's seen her through the floorboards, and she's sitting there like spraying her gun around, not hitting them, luckily, but yeah, he clobbers the shit
And wait,
out of
how does she get in there? How does she get in there? What does she try to? Who does she pretend to be?
I
The
think
whore
that's
on the whore on the cycle.
on the scooter, yeah.
I want
But
to say
yeah,
something
dude,
about this
like
scene real quick. So the scene where he's
go ahead.
they want him to make the announcement, right? To make the call. It's a subtle thing. I love. It's one of
Mhm.
my favorite shots in the movie. It's the side shot up close of him, like just sweating like profusely and trying to buy time. And like the first time you actually kind of see him look contemplative or nervous in either one of the movies, trying to
Mhm.
to delay and delay and delay. I just it's this very subtle shot. It doesn't last very long, but I think it gets over the tension better than just about anything in the entire film. Like
Yeah.
like the actual subtle suspense. You're like, oh shit.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
no, this movie it's slocky and kind of it still has its key elements of like no, this is like he's in. I mean, hell, the scene with he's just in the pig shit alone, like that scene is
Oh,
hard.
strung up, yeah, man.
Oh my god, oof,
His
shit.
bare ass, just yeah, literally. And then they end up escaping, like Julian Nixon and Stallone, like they end up getting away. And they're fucking booking it through the jungle, right? And she's wearing the reddest dress.
Yeah, she's a
It's
bullseye.
like that. Was the
She's
one
dude.
character from Resident Evil? Well,
Ada Wong,
yeah. When she's wearing like in 4, she
But-
shows up wearing that red dress.
but Ada Wong's dress doesn't go down to her ankles. This woman is constricted in the dress she's wearing. How fast can she run?
She's also a giant target. Like she's a bullseye.
Dude, she's a beacon, exactly. Dude, and I didn't even put 2 and 2 together, man, because Stallone's like, I think he like gets cut on his hand or some shit, right? And she takes it and ties it around his hand. I didn't put 2 and 2 together. That's the thing he puts around his fucking head,
Yeah.
But she's like, when you leave, will you take me? And you see him sitting there thinking about not doing it, and then he's like, okay. And dude, they play some tonsil hockey. And after they've been running from this other army, she stands up in the middle of everything in her red dress and gets fucking hosed.
So this
Bonnie and Clyde style, man. She just fucking got tore up.
So this scene is the one scene that bothers me in the movie. So when she gets up and gets wasted just instantaneously after because the whole thing is supposed to be like, oh, they're in love, they're gonna find love, and then boom, she's immediately taken. It's another catalyst for Rambo to go ape shit. But it's
it's his drive. Exactly.
Like when soon as she stands up, they pump her with 40 fucking bullets dead on. But the moment that Rambo stands up, they turn into stormtroopers. Like they just can't hit the broadside of a fucking barn. I'm like, are you kidding me?
And he's as big as a fucking
Exactly.
barn.
You hit this little skinny woman, like literally with your full clips. Didn't miss a damn thing.
I got her.
Exactly.
I got her.
And then he stands up and they're like,
maybe they're shooting from the hip.
Maybe they are.
I don't know.
That shit bothered me. I'm like,
no.
come on, man. Like, I don't mind you shooting her, but like, maybe hit her once. Like, you hit her.
I think it was a dumb decision to have her stand up. Like, I think it'd have been better if she were caught in a trap. Like, because I mean, of course they're in Vietnam, so like, there's traps everywhere, or she stepped on a landmine or something like that.
Yeah,
that'd been almost comical though. She says
that would have been comical, but at the same time, it's like it's almost pointless to have them have that interaction. Just for her to stand up, in the middle of the fucking open.
Because she's running away. Maybe they catch her, right? And they hold her there, and they want to make sure Rambo sees them kill her. Like this.
Yeah,
sure.
That
okay.
creates drama, and it really gives him focus. You're like, but it was very, very sudden and very random. Like she's like, oh, out of nowhere.
Out of nowhere, yeah.
Well, yeah, you definitely did not see that coming at all.
Well, I mean, you didn't then. I mean, I feel like from then to now, especially you guys who do watch these types of movies, you know instantly what's about to fucking happen. Like you're like, oh, she's standing up, she's about to get got.
Yeah,
And then
yeah,
I mean, it's a trope now. Yeah,
Exactly. But dude, when he sits there and you see him tie that headband around, he's all oily and shit.
He buries her and he's just digging his hands in the mud. He's just like, I'm gonna fuck some people up. Like, I'm gonna go ape shit. And this is cool because that was one thing they said when they were filming the movie. They're like, well, in the first one, it was really cool to see him just start taking people off one by one, like just one-on-one throughout the woods. And so I'm like, let's do it. Let's have him do it in the jungle. Just do the exact same thing all over again. He does he covers himself in all complete mud and fucking just starts taking people out like
he starts hiding from the predator.
Yeah. Yeah. He goes, if it bleeds, we can kill it.
If he dies, he dies.
So,
but it was rad seeing him pick them off one by one. That was probably the most exciting part of the whole movie was that, the montage.
I mean,
of it.
The action scenes are shot well. I mean, when he is just a one-man killing machine, that is like that's what sells Rambo. He starts then he goes off and starts blowing shit up with those arrows we saw from earlier.
He got it from Clint Barton. Oh yeah, but that's like the one thing. Like she goes, "You're gonna need this," and she throws this pack at him, and it has the compact bow in it, all these arrowheads and shit. And they make sure to zoom in when he closes it, and it says explosive on it.
Yeah.
And how many? He only has 3, right? Like, is that how many heads are in this thing?
I don't know if it's 3 or 4 because at one point he blows up. Is it? So he
blows up 3 trucks on the bridge,
and then he blows up a hut.
Okay.
And then this is when after he does all this, he finds the general or so from the country, and this is what's made fun of in UHF.
He blows the dude up, right?
And so forth.
Yeah.
Yeah, he blows the dude up. But the thing is, okay, so the guy's shooting at him, and the thing is like with handguns, if you there's no way he's so far from him. It's very hard to be accurate. And that's why Rambo's not scared. He's like, okay, it's almost like that scene from like Judge Dredd, which they did really well, where he's like, what are you on your knees for? He's like, that gun can only be accurate for so amount of feet. And they're only like 50 feet away. There's like, you're completely safe if you stand up because there's no way the guy's going to hit you. And it's kind of like the same thing with this, where he's shooting at him. And the thing that's the silliest part is he's like, okay, I'm going to run away. And then he runs away and then he turns back around. Now that he's farther away and then still tries to shoot him, was like, okay, you should just fucking ran away. Like,
yeah.
What? And this is more like
an intimidation thing though. Like, but he's not going to intimidate John Rambo, but it's like one of those things where it's like, oh shit, someone is shooting at me. Someone kind of get flustered a little bit, but every time you look at him, you see him go,
oh, this scene's great, man.
Oh, every time he draws his bow back. Yeah. And blows his ass up. But yeah, no, it's Weird Al for me, man. That's
so after this, where he's basically he's being chased by a helicopter, and he's able to get on the helicopter and then beat the shit out of everybody, especially the big Russian.
Yeah, he fights the fucking muscle on there in like 3 feet of space, but I love it. He fucking grabs him by the esophagus.
Oh yeah, man.
I thought he was going to rip it out.
For some reason, I thought he was going to rip it out. Yeah, like for my head, like, why do I remember him ripping someone's throat out?
Yeah, we're not quite there yet. I think we're one movie away from getting to that violence.
Yep.
Oh my God.
Man, but
4 and 3, I don't know if it's been a long time since you've seen 3. 3, I swear to God, he's like 30 pounds heavier. He is huge in 3. Like, at that point, the biggest I think Sylvester Stallone's ever been. He's like straight up juicy.
Yeah. You could like pop him with a needle.
But no, he's like,
yeah.
Yeah, he's beat. They're a bunch of man meat is slapping on this helicopter, dude. And then
I like the one dude. He just like, I don't even want to fight you. So he just fucking jumps out, and when he jumps out, he throws his helmet off. I'm like,
that's it. Yeah, that's it. Take it, John.
Oh, so yeah, he steals the helicopter. He gets off with the helicopter. He goes back to the POW camp. He lands the helicopter, gets everybody else out, and tries to get them on the helicopter to safety because obviously he knows no one's coming back for him because he's been fucked from earlier when they got to the rendezvous point, and obviously no one was there to pick them up because they didn't land. So he's going to have to do it himself. Now this is when the Russian lieutenant colonel comes out with his mega fucking helicopter.
Oh yeah, das Copter. Not
this
that
part,
spoot.
this part's so stupid. Okay, so like the scenes are relatively long. These action scenes are actually like majority of the film. Like if you
Yeah.
go back and rewatch, like some of these action scenes are like 20 minutes long. So he basically gets helicopter gets hit at the end, at the tail end of it. You think it goes down, and for some reason, he out of the smoke, he's able to basically like get out of the sight of the other helicopter, and he lands in the water, or like a little island part of the water, or whatever. And then the other helicopter zooms in to see, like what's going on. Is he dead? And he's faking dead. And this is when it just gets super cheesy. Where like you got the
surprise, motherfucker.
yeah,
Some
exactly
fries,
right.
motherfucker.
Hard eyes, motherfucker.
Surprise, motherfucker.
Dude, but he fucking goes shoots him with that potato launcher.
Dude, that's so fucking cool, man. It's so cool. So
Gets
cool.
him good.
But yeah, so basically all the threats are eliminated and he's heading back to basically the headquarters. And they land with all the POWs and everyone's welcoming them. Mind you, on the other side, like fucking Murdoch's shitting his britches because he knows he's coming for him and he knows what he's done is fucked up. Mind you, everybody else didn't know what the fuck he was doing.
Bullets.
Yeah.
The minute Rambo goes, hey, this is Lone Wolf, you just see fucking Murdoch's asshole tighten so hard. He goes, we're coming in for an emergency landing, and you hear him go, and he runs away. Hey, dude. Exactly, man. Like Murdoch doesn't know he fucked up, and the rest of the team that was in the helicopter with him too, like they welcome him, and Rambo clocks that dude in the face.
Oh yeah. It's so like he's like, we're glad you're alive or whatever, and just knocks his ass down, man. It's
so good.
Yeah.
And he grabs the gun from the side of the helicopter, like the helicopter's gun.
Yeah. It just unloads on the computers, which I don't know why, but I don't know. This is where
I feel like there's a significance. Like it would have to, like the data that's on it or something would have to make sense as to why he did that, unless he's just taking out his frustrations on that.
That's probably
I
it.
mean, yeah, I mean there could be because they did bring up that there is the data and the computer system is like the most high tech system of how to track him and so forth like that. And Troutman brings up like you can probably change this in your computer system to make it like it didn't even happen. So maybe maybe that is the
that's
point.
true. Yeah. He talks about, the only people who know he's over there is you and that computer.
Yeah. So
true.
But so he blows all that shit all to pieces, and he gets with Murdoch, and literally Murdoch's got his tail between his legs, like I was just following orders. You know what I mean? I didn't do anything wrong. You got to believe me, Rambo. Obviously, he's not going to fucking kill the guy, but he threatens him, whatever, and he's like, you go there and you find those POWs and you bring them home, and then he stabs his knife down or whatever. Walks off.
Accomplished.
That makes me think of the Brisk tea commercials.
Oh, that's all, dude.
So good.
It's Brisk, baby.
Brisk, baby.
That's Brisk, baby.
But yeah, so he makes his way back out to Troutman. And we have the like big political moment. You know what I mean? Like apparently that scene was like shot 12 different ways. There was 12 different versions or something like that of it. And he said all 12 different versions and they shot one of each. And then when it got to the editing, they just picked which one they felt best fit the film or whatever.
Sure.
Cause a lot of things like when Stallone does a movie, he's in it. Like, even though if he's not the director, he is in he helps make decisions and stuff like that. He it's like he is like 101.
Fucking scares him.
But like he's like 101 with it. Like he's very adamant. Like he really does like film, and he's like really like he's really like he makes himself be a part of the film and helps out in every aspect or whatever, as of either be writing the script, helping with the editing, change like I said, talking to certain people on the scene and coming up with different ideas of how different ways to shoot things and stuff like that. He really, even though it's funny to make fun of him, he really is a well-made director, writer. Like he does write some good shit. I mean,
he's successful. Yeah,
Rocky is amazing.
Yeah, he's an Oscar winner, right? For Rocky,
100%. Yeah. Rocky. Yeah.
And then we get the song from the Hulk at the end. And you see Rambo just walking to the sunset.
Yeah,
he's carrying his bag over his shoulder.
But yeah, that's Rambo. Rambo First Blood Part 2. So
there you go. For those who don't know, like
first,
me,
Paul. What did you think? Did you like the first one more, or do you like the second?
Oh,
yeah,
the first one. So yeah,
first
so this one's a ton of fun. The first one's just a better movie. It's a different. These are two different movies. Like I enjoy this one. If I want to watch action Rambo, this is my Rambo. If I want to watch storytelling Rambo, I watch the first Rambo. I think they're both great films. I think the franchise goes downhill pretty quickly after this, but yeah, for me, it's the first film. I like action, but I still like storytelling, and I think I get both of those in the first film. Whereas this one, I just get the action. It's just the action. The story is very secondary, and it gets kind of lost in the middle of this movie. So, but yeah, but still a ton of fun. If I want a brisk hour and a half action film, this is it. But yeah, I prefer the first film.
Did you say brisk? Did you say brisk, baby?
Brisk, baby.
All right. So since you haven't seen the first one, Dusty, what did you think about it? Did you like it?
Dude, I had a ton of fun with this. Like, there's parts that I can see why you guys think it's exciting. Like when he grabs that snake, that was pretty cool. But from the point where they escape, like Rambo and Satari, when they escape to the end, it was very entertaining, very exciting. So, I've never seen the first one, so I can't judge it. So, this one's better.
It's better than the other one he's seen.
Yeah.
I agree with Paul. Like I really like the first one, and this one, I chose it because it is a sequel, but in theory, you really can't. I really don't think you can compare the two because they're two completely different movies.
Sure.
Even though that's what we're doing, but I still wanted to talk about it because this is Rambo to people. That's the thing. Is like Rambo 2 is Rambo. Like they think that, like, if I talk to my mom, she probably won't even remember the first one. But if I start talking about Rambo, she's like, oh yeah, when he's like all dressed in all black and stuff like that. This is the Rambo that people think of. Cause like, this is like, I don't know. It's a big freaking thing.
More people saw this one. I mean, the box office showed that.
Yeah, 100%. And I didn't look up the numbers for 3 and 4 came out. I was working in the movie theater when 4 came out because I think, hell, it could have been. Shit, was it? Damn, I think it. So 82 was First Blood and Rocky 3. 85, Rambo 2 and Rocky 4. And I think when Rambo came out, I think that's when Balboa came out too. I think they came out in the same year together.
So Rambo 3 is 88. So when is Rocky 4?
No, Rocky 4 came out in 85.
Okay, so when's 5?
Oh, I don't know when 5 is. I can't remember.
So Rambo 3.
Let's
see. Rambo 3 is 88. Rocky 5 is 90. So then so you use Balboa.
Then there's Rambo and then Balboa. Are they the same
Balboa
year?
came out. Rocky Balboa came out in 2006, and Rambo came out in 2008.
Oh, damn.
But these movies did. Rambo 3 took a dip, and it got a bigger budget than this movie, and it made less. So, it made like 150 on almost a $60 million budget. Because it's a bad movie. Gotcha. It's one of those movies that, like, by that point in 88, you had already had Predator, you had already had like Commando, the first two Rambos. You're starting to getting at this point. You're starting to get to the point where you're getting really high quality action movies, and new franchises, like newer stories being told. And
Yeah.
so like people didn't want to return to a theater to see, you know, just the return on investment was going down. So because the quality of the movies were going down. So I think this one probably got word of mouth. And then 88 was a huge year for film. So this just didn't, it had a ton of competition. And it just, like I said, it just like all things, if the quality dips, so does the return. So
Yeah, true. True. I will say that's the one I don't remember hardly any of it. I just remember the fighting scene with him just and like that fight pit thingy or whatever. That's the only thing I can really remember from the movie.
Rip the
and actually
throat
Rambo
out.
4 made less than that, less than 3. It only made 113. And then Rambo 5, the last Rambo, only made 95, didn't even break 100 million. So
Yeah, that's also a COVID movie too, right?
Was it
Yeah.
2000? Was it
I feel like it is.
It was at least 2020 or 2021.
Last Blood.
2019.
Yeah.
Okay.
So it just sucked and made no money. Dude, Last Blood is awful. It is awful. Rambo is okay.
Yeah, I was really
Yeah,
let down with that.
Rambo
one, to
is
be honest.
okay. The fourth one, well, it's just called Rambo, is fine.
Yeah.
But
No, I like the concept is cool. I really like the concept. It's almost like Cannibal Holocaust mixed with Rambo.
it's big dumb fun. It's just a lot of hyper violence and
super gore. I mean, we're talking about
it's the goriest of all the movies.
People
It's the
exploding
goriest
left
of all
and right.
5 films.
Hell yeah.
But
Yeah. I got to rewatch that one. I got it on Blu-ray.
yeah, but their return on investment after this film went down and down and down and down because the quality of films went down and down and down and down. So
yeah,
it was trying to become an instant cash grab. I mean, we see it with the toys and the cartoon and all
which
that.
Which is weird because the turnarounds weren't that quick.
It
was 3 years between each of the first 3 films. So,
but I mean, what came out between those 3 years, though? You know what I mean? Like there was other, like you're saying, there's other
also,
stuff that's like. Now they're
you're also talking about
that.
from 85 to 88, the progress they made in, like, you got early CG is being used in the 80s, late 80s, and so you're getting a lot of progress in the quality of film you're watching. So
but yeah, that's Rambo First Blood Part 2. See, that's the thing. It's a tongue tie. It's
for those that don't know, like me.
It should just be First Blood Part 2.
Or just say it's Rambo 2. Because that's the other thing too, is Rambo 4 is called Rambo. It's just called Rambo. So you have First Blood, Rambo First Blood.
It should have done like the at the beginning, like all like the Predator.
You have
the Ramp.
So this is the order of the movies. You have the First Blood. You have First Blood rather. Then you have Rambo First Blood Part 2. Then you have just Rambo 3. And then you have Rambo, and then you have Rambo Last Blood. So the titles are just like, if you put them in order, it makes no fucking sense.
Yeah, just like the Fast and the Furious and Fast and Furious.
It's Fast and Furious, Too Fast, Too Furious. Then you have Fast and Furious Tokyo Drift, and then
the Fast and the Furious.
And then you have Fast 5.
Stupid.
That was like, we should do those movies. I was like, I'm not doing those movies. No,
you know what? If you do those movies, she has to do the other Rambos. That's only fair.
It's like, this is more faster, more furiouser.
It's about family. Like you say, like Stallone, though. It's about family.
All right. So that's the episode. Once again, you already said at the beginning, if you stayed around and say it again. Where can we find you guys at?
Paul? No, I'm just kidding.
Your turn.
Yeah, we are the Flicks and Friends podcast. We are on all social media platforms, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and the Facebook. We are on any podcatcher as well, like Spotify, Apple Music. Talk about dead mediums. There's Google Music that is now dead. So Yeah, we're a variety movie podcast. We don't really have a particular niche. We just do themed months of movies. So yeah, that's where you can find us.
Yeah, and like I said, all their information, you guys, will be in the comments below. What's called? I'll give you a link for their Instagram, and then I'll probably put your Spotify link and your Apple Podcast link too, or some whatever I can fit in there.
All right.
But yeah, that is episode 37. And I will see you guys on the next one. I believe Becca will be with me on that one. She should be.
She better be.
But yeah, if you're new, thank you for joining us. Please like, share, subscribe. And if you've returned, welcome back. And if you have some time, please give us a review on your favorite podcast app if you're choosing. That'll greatly appreciate it and help us out with our algorithm and so forth. The whole YouTube spill. But thank you guys for coming, and I will see y'all next time.